Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And I'm kind of surprised that I'm doing a podcast called Getting Older, but I'm getting older. So it's having it's not quite a milestone birthday, but I'm approaching the next milestone birthday. And so I've had getting older on my mind more. And also we have family members who are getting older, and we've, my wife and I have lost 3 of our parents. As we sort of watch our friends and family get older, it's occurred to us that maybe that will include us too. And while we are not going gentle into that good night, and we are both very, very much taking care of ourselves as best we know, it's something that I'd never thought about very much until my coming up on my 50th birthday. And I remember I was feeling kind of down and low, and I didn't understand why, and I kind of just didn't overthink it for once in my life. But I noticed it, and then I realized, I kind of think it's downhill from 50. Now, I always have had a weird relationship with age. I never expected to do anything in my life till I was 30. So for whatever reason, I didn't have any of the stuff that people sometimes have. And then, I had my first deliberate midlife crisis approaching 40. I thought, well, okay, I guess I should try and have a midlife crisis, but I wasn't very good at it, so I gave it up. But it wasn't until I got to 49 and a half where suddenly I was like, oh gosh, I'm getting older. And, I'm going to have to, I haven't gotten as far as I'd hoped I'd get. And, everything's going to be harder from here. And I don't even know where those particular thoughts come from. Now, most of us have them, but you might have them at a very different age. I remember being shocked when a television director I was working with it came to me very upset that he was officially middle-aged. I went, "How old are you?" And he said, "I'm about to turn 35. And I was like, oh my God. But for me, those thoughts started kicking in as I was approaching 50. And what popped it for me was quite fun. My wife and I went to a music festival in the Napa Valley called Bottle Rock. They call it, Coachella for grown-ups. And that day's lineup happened to be, it was Lenny Kravitz, Stevie Wonder, and Earth, Wind, and Fire. And we were like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. So we went, we were having a great time. And as I was watching each act, it started dawning on me, wait, these people are all well over 50. Even Lenny Kravitz was like, I think in his mid-50s at the time. And they're all really still able to perform at a really high level. And I realized that it wasn't a number. It was a scary thought that was making me feel bad. And I was reminded of that recently. I have a very dear friend, Mavis Karn, who's the author of one of my favorite books in the world. And in the spirit of full disclosure, I'm the publisher of the book. So yes, I am promoting a book that I publish. But it's called It's That Simple, A User's Manual for Human Beings. And I can't recommend the book highly enough. But Mavis is getting older. She's in her mid to late 80s. And she was sharing with me recently that somebody asked her, well, what does it feel like to get older? And she thought about it for a minute and said, well, it's kind of like any other age. It depends how I'm thinking about it. And I want you to just sit with that idea for a minute. How it feels to get older, whether older is into your 30s or into your 40s or into your 50s or your 60s or your 70s or 80s or beyond, is always going to be the feeling of however you're thinking about it. And if you don't like the way it feels, you don't have to keep thinking about it that way. Now, that's not to say you need to think positive and you need to focus on this or focus on that or change your thinking. It's actually enough to just not keep thinking about it in a way that feels bad. Like, if you touch a hot stove, it hurts a bit. And it's good that it hurts a bit, so you'll move your hand. In fact, if it didn't hurt a bit, you'd wind up doing some serious damage to your hand. Well, our thinking kind of works the same way. If the way you're thinking about something feels bad, it's letting you know, hey, we're just going to give you a little bit of pain now so that you don't keep thinking about it until you actually do yourself some damage. So if you don't like the way getting older feels when you think about it, you don't have to think about it that way. But you don't have to make yourself think about it differently. It's enough to just drop that and see what comes. One of my favorite lines is from a book by a 14th century, if I'm remembering correctly, Zen patriarch. And the book is called The Sin Sin Ming. And he says, "You do not need to seek truth. Simply cease to cherish opinion." And in the same way, if you don't like the way it feels to get older, you don't need to come up with a better way or find the truth of getting older. It's enough to let go of the opinion that it's going to be problematic and terrible and awful and bad and wrong and horrible, and see what actually comes. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.